We had just arrived in the Mangalem quarter, late in the afternoon, right when the city starts to wake up for the evening. Now, you can feel the energy in the air. This was historically the Ottoman side of Berat, and it still feels like the center of everything. The streets are a bit tighter here, and everyone is out, making the most of these last few hours of daylight. That side of the river over there is Gorica. It was historically the Christian quarter, and it always felt a bit more tucked away. Now, looking across, it's just so laid back, as you see. Guess what? That's where we had that food walk, with the busiest man in Albania. I'm still thinking about those generous liquid portions. It's funny seeing it from this side, isn't it? We stood by the bank as the sun was starting to dip, and now, as you see, the Osum is really clear today. It starts up in the mountains near Vithkuk and runs for over 160 kilometers before it joins another river. It was the boundary between the Ottoman and Christian quarters for a long time, but today it's just this shallow stretch in the middle of town. We looked at the stone and wood layers late in the afternoon, and now, as you see, these upper levels project right out from the main stone building. Those dark wooden beams support the lighter wood frames above. It is how they added extra rooms and balconies, even on such a steep hillside. Looking back across to Gorica, you can see how those houses are built tier above tier. The roof of one house basically acts as the terrace for the neighbor above it. It's just row after row of windows, like they're all watching the river at once, isn't it? We left the riverside late in the afternoon to start our climb, and now we're entering the heart of Mangalem. It was actually built over the ancient city of Antipatrea, all the way back in the 4th century BC. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited places in Europe. We reached the square late in the afternoon. Now, as you see, it is the heart of Mangalem, and historically, it's called the Pasha's Gate. We arrived at the hotel just as the light was changing. Now, as you see, this lattice balcony is part of the original 18th century mansion. Ahmet Kurt Pasha established his residence here back in 1764. Now, as you see, it's Hotel Mangalemi, one of the first private hotels in Albania. It opened in 1991 with just one single guest room, and survived the collapse of communism to become a landmark for the entire city. We walked toward the gate at the edge of the square. Every stone you see here was hauled 60 kilometers from the ruins of Apollonia, and these massive arches were part of the Kurt Pasha family's administrative complex. Now, as you see, this formal entrance to the Pasha's domain has been converted into a social spot for coffee. We step through the gate and now, as you see, the energy actually picks up here. This is the heart of the residential and shopping alleys. These stone paths have been worn smooth by hundreds of years of foot traffic. You have shops tucked into these thick stone walls on both sides, with the living quarters and all those famous windows sitting just above us. We moved toward the modern center late in the afternoon. But before the lively pedestrian zone, we're heading toward the Halveti Teka. It was completed in 1782, and we're just a few steps away from it now. That's Kathy on the left, and Ornella on the right, a few steps ahead of me as always. We reached the medieval center late in the afternoon. Now, as you see, the minaret belongs to the oldest mosque in the city, and that building with the metal grids is the Halveti Tekke, which was finished in 1782 by Ahmet Kurt Pasha. We moved toward the center of the courtyard. Now, as you see, this stone well was the lifeblood of the complex. It provided water for everyone here. We looked over at the long building. Now, as you see, these are the dervish konaks. It is a massive 18th century guest house with that long wooden balcony. Imagine, travelers and dervishes staying here for free. It's all part of the Sufi tradition of hospitality. We walked past the enclosure wall. Notice how those wooden doors are actually shutters. They lead into the dervish cells, and maybe even to the bazaar outside. We paused for a moment here in the middle of our walk. If you like this no talking head, no music style of storytelling, there are more such videos coming. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. And if you enjoy this walk, you can push the thumbs up button just below the video. It helps other people find these quiet stories too. We reached the wide pedestrian street late in the afternoon. Look at all those windows. It's easy to see why Berat is called the City of 1,000 Windows. They'll all start to glow once it gets a bit darker. We reached the main boulevard late in the afternoon. Now, look how wide and quiet this entire space is. Back in the Ottoman times, these streets were narrow and dusty, and horses and donkey carts were the only way to get around. We reached the edge of the new town just as the light began to fade. So here we are, at the entrance to the Bulevardi Republika. It's the social heart of the city. We saw families starting to gather for the evening. Now, look at the crowd. This is the Xiro. It's a long-standing tradition in Albania where everyone comes out to walk, talk, and just be seen. It happens every single night. Like an outdoor living room for the entire community. The two sides of the city always felt like different worlds. Now, you can see the contrast. To our front, we have the clean, white stone of the modern boulevard. And to our back, the ancient houses of Mangalem are stacked up the hillside. It's a sharp mix of the new energy down here and the weathered stone soul of the past. We looked toward the end of the street as the horizon darkened. Look past the buildings. Way up there. That's Mount Timor. It's the sacred mountain of the region. Even with all the modern cafes and streetlights around us, it still feels like the quiet guardian of the entire valley. Mount Timor has been towering over the town for thousands of years. Now, as you see, it's often called the Olympus of Albania. It is a massive national park, and it stays snow-capped for most of the year. We were in the second week of our 3-week Albanian road trip. Now, as you see, our next stop is Pogradec on the banks of Lake Ohrid. It is another little explored area, and we eventually crossed into Montenegro and North Macedonia. To see the upcoming videos, you can subscribe to the channel just below the video. And if you enjoy this walk, you can push the thumbs up button to like the video. Thank you. Instead of staying in a hotel, here in Berat, we opted to stay in an apartment a bit off the town center. It belonged to a local family who turned out to be excellent hosts, and they showed us true Albanian hospitality. This is where we learned about the Besa. Now, as you see, Besa is a sacred code. Under Besa, a host takes on the absolute responsibility for the safety of their guest. The guest is treated as a member of the family, and their protection is guaranteed, even at the cost of the host's own life or fortune. It sounds intense, but we actually became part of the family during our stay. In the evenings, we have pizza and raki with them, and we're still in touch on WhatsApp. That video is coming too. We came back to the center as the sun finally dipped behind the hills. Now, as you see, Berat looks quite different at night. We saw these very buildings earlier when we were passing here in the afternoon. But now, all those glowing windows are staring right at us. This is why we came back the following day, just for a night walk. That night walk will be the next video. It was a beautiful way to see the city, and I hope you enjoyed coming along with us.